I want to build my first mega factory, and it would look really cool if it sat on an overhanging cliff above a river it could pollute. There's just one problem. I don't have a river. Now, I could just take a drill and dig a straight line from the ocean to the river, connecting the two, but that's quite boring and my stats won't go up if I do that. So instead, I decided to spend over 30 hours carving out a 300 block long river by hand, shaping the landscape for the future factory. Welcome back to Just Create. Before we get started, consider subscribing and leaving a like. It helps a ton and keeps you up to date with all my new videos. And this area here is where we're going to be turning into our river. Problem is that I only have one beacon, which won't cover all of this terrain. So it's time for another adventure, as I want to kill a bunch of wither skeletons with a goal of another 15 skulls to get a total of 6 beacons. Finally, 15 skulls. Okay, that only took like a little over an hour. Should really make a farm for this if I'm going to keep doing this much digging. But at least we have our skulls for now, so flying over to the end and heading beneath the portal back to the overworld, spawning in the first of 5 withers. Just grabbing this. Perfect. Then we can craft 5 more beacons. Perfect. And how much iron? Oh boy. I wonder, because we need a lot of iron blocks. I wonder if I can just tunnel my way over this way. We can use Foxy's little shenanigans to our help. Because there is one of those right there. We just disconnect this. I don't think he's actually using this anymore. And we make ourselves a little redstone button. And then that would be 1 stack of iron blocks. 2 stacks of iron blocks. Hopefully we have enough for all the beacons I want to make. Otherwise, we're going to have an issue. Back at the project with all our new beacons. And we can start building them up along where I want the river to go in preparation for us to start digging. There we go. 4 beacons in. Still have 2 more left if I do need to use them. We probably will need them, but this for now is enough to cover the river. It's just about to start digging, but this is the state of my 3 shovels. And okay, good. We have a few shulker shells. So up to the creeper farm we go, as I'm going to need to repair these before we get started. This is the first, but definitely not the last time we're going to be here today. Tools repaired, brought some shulker boxes over that we can get placed down, and we can get started on digging out the river. The first thing I want to go through and do is clear away the dirt down to stone, marking out where exactly the river itself will be going. This is only the first stage of this project, as this is literally just a river, and since I want that down by Y level 63, we have a lot of blocks to clear in the future. Oh, that was bad. No! Third shovel is about to break. And well, we did break the first one. And also I've added a few more shulker boxes, as I very much underestimated how much dirt we'll be getting. But we are making steady progress. And we're so close to being done with digging the dirt that I just want to finish that off. So back at the creeper farm for a second time today. With them repaired, I'm back at the plains biome, clearing away the last remaining stretch of dirt for the river. Final dirt section dug out, and I want to do some building. So for that, we need some resources. So back to the spawn we go, where we can grab a couple of gray shulker boxes, and let's also get a darker gray one, which is just gray, right? But we can start filling our boxes with some regular deep slate. Let's also see how much tuff we have laying around. Actually a fair bit. Pretty much all of the tuff we need except a bit. So heading over to Mr. Beardstone's stones. No, wait, Mr. Beardstones. We can find the tuff pile, which we can turn into some chisel tuff to fill out the box. Then just continuing to rummage around in my workshop, gathering up even more and more stone blocks. Pretty much got everything in the workshop now, just got to head over the hills, arriving at my saw and grabbing some bone meal, as I need to gather up a few acacia logs. Then before heading home, just heading north a bit where I need to get some tube coral, which that's bubble. Is this tube? That's tube coral. To get back going through the nether and heading down into the depths because we are building a bridge after all. Perfect, 8 debris now just to find my way out of here. Netherite ingots, chiseled stone bricks, and 2 lodestones to make this an official bridge. And back here with all of the resources. Only problem is that, well, to build the bridge, we need to dig more. So my distraction from digging is turned into more digging. But no use complaining about that because I actually quite enjoy digging by hand. It's one of my favorite things to do. Turn on some music and chip away at a project. Well, definitely underestimated this part of the dig, as an hour and a half later, we've cleared away a lot of terrain, and the bridge is gonna go right over there. But we need the river basin, and I actually forgot some materials. So back at spawn, over by Chosen's dirty shop. Let's see, 4 for 256. I happen to know, though, that there's a discount alley. So if we just bring out some diamonds, we can buy 12, 16, 20, 24, 3 shulker boxes, 4 shulker boxes of mud. Having brought the mud back to the river, I next want to work on getting the first stretch of mud along the bottom of the river filled in, which involves clearing away a ton of blocks and then coming back in with the mud. And well, another hour of digging and placing mud later, a project I thought was gonna take, well, about 2 hours to dig everything out and build everything up. Spoiler, we haven't built everything up. But it's now a 3-hour project and we haven't even started building the cliffs. So we should probably do that. And my shulker boxes have grown slightly, where we now have 16, 24, almost like 32 shulker boxes filled with resources. So let's actually grab a few of these that we can use to start building some terrain back up, as we won't only be tearing away blocks today, even though it feels like it. But as I build up the first cliff face of the new terrain, all of that mining and digging we've done becomes so worth it. Another 30 hours of terraforming work done, and we can finally get around to some building. To do that, I want to grab some deep slate and basalt. Starting off down here in the corner, we'll start extending up our chronic deep slate bricks as our darkest blocks. Turn to lighten that up with some deep slate bricks coming into our basalt. Quickly grab a little bit of temporary block, bringing out some brown bits. Continuing this, coming in with some mud brick walls just to round this off a little bit, where we can then top this off with our deep slate and basalt mix again. Added in some walls in the top section there and an identical one on the other side. And we can swap out these blocks, actually keeping these ones, getting rid of the mud, and we'll bring out some polished granite as well. Then coming back in here with a bit of a brighter palette, using some tough and pale moss, where we've got this opening now. And if we swap these out for even brighter blocks, going in yet another block, we'll start adding this in. We're adding some tough brick walls here just to round it off a little bit. And before we continue with the lighter tones, let's bring in some chisel tough above that with polished tough slabs. And then bringing out our granite and concrete here, we can start layering this in for a splash of color on the side. I know we already have a little bit of color there, but I'm afraid the rest of this bridge will be pretty bland. So let's add in some color while we can. Got a bit more of that light texture added in, and taking a step back here, it's looking pretty good. I added in a couple of glass bits here just to round it off a little bit and smooth out the colors, and I actually really like that. So let's construct the same face again on the other side of the bridge. Then while this is the end of the actual bridge, the train tracks to go along this still need to connect down to the ground, so extending walls beyond this, sloping and curving downwards, connecting into the train. Added on a deep slate floor here so that we can actually walk along this, and this is a great start to a diagonal sloping bridge. Really, why did I decide to make it diagonal and sloping? I made the terrain. I could have decided to just make it a diagonal or just a sloping bridge. No. I needed to be difficult. Anyhow, we need a couple of railings to run along this. So I brought along with me some chisel tough that I'm thinking we can just lay on top of this all the way down. Then bringing on some polished tuff and waxed exposed copper trap doors. We can use this. No, wait, no, not like that. Like that. To bring in a top to this and just a little more color as well. That's looking a whole lot better, so maybe we should start connecting the sides. Yep. But before we can build the middle bit, we need to build in the same structure we've just built on the east side on the west one to have something to connect up to. And it's missing the deep slate, but I do want to connect them up before adding that in, and that means we need to get rid of this beacon. Probably should just glue this up and move it with a contraption, but oh well, too late now. With that removed, I want to start working on the inner arch of the bridge, which was not an easy feat with the diagonal and the bridge sloping, but using some darker blocks to simulate shadows stretching from deep slate bricks all the way to regular stone. Then using our 2 lighter pallets to fill the gaps in going up to the floor of the bridge. Before building up our final bit of railing, of course including our 2 lodestones to officially make this a bridge. And if we fly back and don't mind that it's missing deep slate, doesn't need to go get some more, I think this bridge is looking great. It took me a while to put together, and at the end of this, I think having it on the sloping diagonal was so definitely worth it. And oh yeah, we gotta light it up underneath.
Sam!
Oh, thought I heard a rocket. Hi.
Yeah, this bridge looks wonderful.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I've been through a few stages of grief building it, but it's fine. It's fine.
Right, yeah. There was an option to build an angled, like, rampy type bridge over at my place, and I was like, nah, not doing it.
It's looking good.
It looks amazing.
What are you doing out here? This isn't close to your base.
Questions. So, I noticed you built a lovely new shop.
Oh,
New
yes.
custom tree shop.
Yes.
Oh, put me down. And, weirdo. And I just wanted to double check, like, the prices is a case of you buy the schematic and then, like, you can just make your own after that, right?
No. No.
What, so that's like per tree?
Yeah, are they too expensive?
Well, for example, I just flew down your rail trying to find you. And I went past a collection of trees. Must have been about, 10 trees, something like that. If I wanted to do that, it's going to cost me hundreds of diamonds, Stan.
Yes, but that's why you bulk order, Beardy.
Right.
Did you not read the signs?
I did, but I obviously instantly forgot that bit. Because I just assumed, 24 diamonds for a tree schematic. If I wanted, like, one of every tree you've got, it's going to cost me, like, $1,000. So I was like, nah, it must be per schematic. But that's per tree.
Yeah, it was meant to be, like, if you want one tree, it's going to be a little expensive because they take some time to make, And then if you want more,
but you're not making them.
Talk to me. Well, I am making them. Well, I've designed them. It's time and effort into that, Beardy.
Fair. The designers do need to be paid for their work. I agree with
exactly.
that. Yeah. Right. So what are the bulk order prices like? Because I'm gonna want like hundreds of trees.
Oh, where are you putting these trees?
I've got a very long rail line that's very long and boring.
Oh yeah, that ugly piece of track would need some trees. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there's going to be like loads of trees down there. There's like my entire base area is going to need trees. I want to put like a little forest around the back of a bit.
Okay. Well, do you want to head back to spawn and look at some of the trees we have?
I've already looked. I looked through your books and it's all been wonderful. Like there's lots of trees. I'm just going to want like a variety of different trees. I wonder if we can come up with some kind of, I don't know, subscription service or something. I don't know. I don't know how to do this, Stan, because I'm happy to spend lots on trees, but at current prices,
it's unreasonable. Okay. Yeah, maybe a subscription fee wouldn't be a bad idea.
I was like, well, it would be 10 months of electricity to everyone on the server to be able to buy like 10 large trees.
Okay, so... maybe. Why is it so cheap for power then? I feel like you got to get into some other businesses.
Yeah, it's gradually going up, Stan. Don't worry. Yeah. It's gradually rising, which they may or may not be aware of, but that's a story for another day.
Oh, okay. I'm also subscribed to your power, right?
So, about this subscription.
Yeah.
Either way, I'd love some trees. I don't mind, paying a reasonable amount of money for them, but I need so many trees. It would break me. Okay, then maybe a subscription service isn't a bad idea. I just need to think a little bit about the pricing of that and how often you need to pay for it and stuff. Yeah, that sounds good. Just give it some thought. And I'll give it some thought. Or any other plans, or if you do like bulk packages of trees. Do you need some trees right now? Not right now. Okay. No, not right now. I just I heard the rumor that the tree shop was open, so I went to have a look, and well, now here we are. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll lower the prices of them a little bit, and then I'll figure out
out some subscription thing. So, well, I'm going to finish my bridge and give it some thought.
Cool. Well, it's a lovely bridge. I can't wait to actually see the finished product.
Yeah, a lovely train line's going to run over it.
Oh,
actually made a proper sized bridge for the trains this time.
Oh, did you make a proper sized train for the train track?
No, what do you mean? Get out of here. Oh, this is getting fancier and fancier. Oh, wow.
I did some building.
Yeah, you've been busy. Maybe I should stop digging rivers and mountains.
No, rivers and mountains are great.
Yeah, but look at this. Oh, how many items is this?
About 3 and a bit million.
Oh.
But yeah, this guy, Hank isn't locked yet. I've left Frank at the other place, but Hank isn't locked yet, so just help yourself to Deep Slate.
Deep Slate. You have 185,000. Oh, that's fast. This is insane.
But yeah, and it's got a shulker box unloader here as well. Look.
Oh, I've got to get, okay. Bye, Beardy.
So yeah.
Back from visiting Beardy, added in more Deep Slate. Still gotta finish decorating it, but we've got tracks running down the bridge now and stopping here as I don't exactly know how I want to take them into this next area, as that's definitely a future project, as this river is already a lot. And now before we get back to clearing out the rest of the river, I need to build a tree. So, well, I actually forgot to build a tree in the last episode. Funnily enough, the episode that I build a shop where I sell my tree schematics, I forget to build a tree. Yay! But before we can build the new tree today, I need to do a bit more digging, clearing away pretty much the entire stretch between the bridge and the ocean to the north to make space for our trees. Another hour and a half down the line, a few rocks and some terrain added back in, this part of the river is looking fantastic. Which means we can build our trees, and of course, since I forgot to build one in the previous episode, I've got to build 2 today. And as much as all this digging I've been doing today may seem like a waste of time, when I could just use the schematic cannon for drills, I'm really enjoying this project, and if you are too, you should consider subscribing. And with that plug out of the way, we have 2 brand new trees along the river, which still isn't even fully dug out, even without counting the terrain on the sides, so starting on the final stretch of that. We're nearing the end of the river on this side, but we still have a couple of blocks to dig. Only one small problem, and that is that this is the state of all our pickaxes right now, so we've got to go back to spawn, where we once again can repair up our tools. Tools all repaired up. Back in the chest it goes. And back at the digging site, I want to finish up the last stretch of the river itself, clearing away all the stone layers down to Y level 63. And since I've pre-planned all of this terrain in a creator world, I'm using a mod called Limatica to help me bring it into the world, and toggling that back on as I near the bottom, I can save a ton of time by already knowing where I want to start sloping the river into the middle, meaning I don't have to waste time removing blocks underneath where I want mud. And with that final stretch, we got mud going along the entire way. Now, I'm a bit torn on what to do next. Got a few things I want to do. I want to start on the foliage, but first, I think I want to clear out this section of terrain, which is where we're actually going to put this cobblestone factory and the whole reason for this entire project. We should probably get to work on that, as I have a lot of digging to do. Hopefully, though, not too much. Definitely not too much, as we are moving into the steeper parts of the river edge, which means I have far less blocks to break, where I only need to bring down the blocks closest to the river all the way down and can leave the rest intact. Where after a bit under an hour and a half of digging, I've managed to clear away all blocks on this side ready for some cliffs, which means we need resources. So let's actually grab a few empty shulker boxes. We already have deep slate here and, well, stone plus actually a fair bit of andesite. First up over here by the light gray sheep, as we need some of this for our lighter tones. Just grab a few diamonds for my storage. First thing I want to check is just... Oh, no, it's not. Oh, it's not set up. What is set up, though, is just around the corner. Mr. Beard's stones. Where is the tough pile? Let's just buy a shulker box. Then this area of the world is quickly becoming a mess anyways. So let's just get this down and start making a bunch of pale mosses. I also need that. And then we can gather it back up using our hoe. Then the reason I also flew over here is because I need more acacia wood. So placing down a bunch of saplings, bone mealing them up, and chopping them back down. Then this needs to be crafted down into wood, where we lose, well, 25% of it, but I hope this will be enough. We might have to come back here later, though. Back here, grabbing a box of andesite, deep slate, one of our stone boxes, dirt, and the grass. And then starting to build up the cliffs. This section of the terrain is actually the entire reason for this project, as I wanted a overhang cliff with my cobblestone factory on top of it, and then thought a river would look cool and continued to get carried away, where I've now spent 25 hours on the river part of this project alone. But it's all worth it, as it's starting to look really, really good. I've got all of the terrain extended out to this point now, and I'm really, really excited, as, well, I only got this section left, and all the main terrain is done. But first, I've actually gone and grabbed a couple of blocks here, as I want to get started on the cobblestone factory. And no, we won't actually start on the farm itself, but I do want to build in that inspiration that, well, is the reason I'm making this entire river in the first place. And, looks like I'm missing a roof. Just patch that up and up on underneath. Where do we start? Reckon we should start with the wall itself, so let's bring out the blocks for that. And I don't actually know what I want to do for the factory itself, but some brick and stuff can't hurt, right? think something like this will work. A lot of holes and things that we can work with now. And let's just get rid of these two materials right away by adding in a little door down here. And then I want to tackle these two bigger openings, which I should be able to do with these resources. We're going to fill these blocks in here with some, actually no, with some polished tuff. Just curving this off a little bit here with some slabs and stairs. And not quite round, which is why I brought along these walls here, just to round it off that a little bit more and add in sort of vertical slab feel. Then we gotta dig away at just a couple of blocks in here so that we can bring in some black concrete as a backdrop, just so it looks like there's actually a tunnel behind this. Do some deep slate here as it's just a little darker, and we'll give that effect of it being, well, in a tunnel. Then let's see, get one of these in, light that up, then start creating some fans. Then just adding in our copper grates here on the outside just to cover this up. Added in the second one here, and this is looking fantastic. Now for these 3 holes, which is what all of these blocks are for. Adding in some of this, and I guess we can get some extra brick blocks just for ease of mind. For this one, I want to use some of our oxidized bits. Added in this other intake pipe here, just a different color, and I like this. Now, this is for waste pouring into the river, because of course we're building a river to, you know, pollute the environment with our factory. But before we can do that, I actually want to try out some of our foliage bits, using all the different bits of foliage I brought with me to bring some life between the factory wall and river's edge. And I was just about to show this off during nighttime with all the firefly bushes out and about, but I really like this area. There's one more thing that I want to add when we add in the water soon, and that's some waste, like I was talking about, flowing out of this and contaminating the area, which is why we have so many pale leaves and coarse dirt, podzol, and even the glow lichen here, which is a little transition back into normal grass. And not too tall vegetation here, as these fans are definitely blowing air into the factory or out, most likely in. And obviously there would be some wind flow in this area, so I haven't added that much in. And then I want to do a few more bits and bobs here once we've added in the water. But before that, I think we do need to finish off the opposite side here, which involves even more digging. Luckily, this is the final stretch of blocks that I need to dig away today, bringing my total broken blocks with a pickaxe and shovel on the server to just shy of 400,000 blocks. But with the blocks cleared away, it's time to build some nicer looking cliffs using the remaining resources I gathered up earlier to form the final stretch of the landscape. This is looking so good now that we can fly through this entire valley all the way down here and have terrain on both sides. And now comes the part of this project I've been dreading, as we need to fill the entire river with water. Quickly set up a cannon here with a machine that could hopefully help us with this. And that's not many resources at all. Let's see what we already have. Not too many things, but it's at least a few. So just a bit more crafting. To get all of our resources, just need one piece of gunpowder. Get that placed down, boom, and let the schematic cannon quickly just build up this machine, which should help me with the flooding. A lot of pumps, and then a layer of deployers, and you'll see why in just a second. As if we grab these buckets, just fill them up, head on underneath here, and just give every single one of these deployers a water bucket. We should be able to move this really, really easily around the river and maybe future lakes even. Right, hopefully if we just do that. Yep, we got the entire thing with me. Pick all of this up and back to the river we go. Right, let's try this by just going up. And we need to go a little bit above here. Then if we place in that, and actually, yeah, probably need to go a little forward to make sure that we get it in the deepest point there. Place that down. Contraption. Okay, walkways needs to be added to this in the future, but we should be able to extend this down now. Then let's see. What I'm going to try doing is a line of stone right here so that we can fill that part of the river first. Then let's see if we first toggle this on, then this, which has added in all of the water. Perfect. Then flip this guy and we should be filling up the river. Oh, definitely. Oh, that's so fast. Oh, this was so worth it. I've just used one pump in the past. Look at it go. This is actually going so fast. Just got 2 more layers left to fill after this one. And actually, I just checked the config and we actually have it fill past infinite. So I should actually be able to find the deepest point of the river and set it up there and fill the entire thing. I should actually be able to just open this up, right? Well, if come back and fill this in. Oh, yep, definitely. Don't even have to move it. So after clearing away all of those stone blocks, I stood on the bridge and waited for the flood machine to fill the entire river with source blocks, which did not take long at all. That worked amazing, as we now have water in a river. And I just need to pack this up, which is actually pretty simple, as we need to turn this off. Just gonna get back here, turn that on. Those should go down, pick all the water back up, and then we can turn it off. We can then grab our wrench and hop on back down here, power it, and pick it back up. And we've filled up a river. Grab the few items that I wouldn't be needing, as the next thing and the final thing is foliage around the river. And before heading home, I'm down here at the swamp, as our river definitely needs lily pads, and this is like the only way to get more lily pads. Just put together some wood bits here back at the workshop, and I want to figure out all our leaves, as I need a lot of them. First, these on my list are oak and birch, where I continue to tear down all of the leaves in this forest here. That's finished up, so heading over to my tree chopping place, where we need to grow up a few acacia trees. Do need some more mangrove wood, and I need a tad of azalea. Leaves back at the workshop, and next up we need some firefly bushes and, well, bone meal, also some glass and green dye. Then if we just go out here and I think just bone meal this, we can get so many more firefly bushes. A lot more than I needed. Should just need 4 stacks for now. The rest can go back in storage. Then we're just missing one final thing, which is pickles, and I have nearly enough. Do I have coral? I do. Now someone's moved my coral down here, so let's just place this back in. Pickle goes in the middle, and then we can just bone meal that for more pickles. Using the small bit of foliage I built up underneath the overhang by the factory wall earlier as a template, I started to travel along the edge of the river, placing down azalea leaves and smaller details, building up a few more trees along the shore next to the bridge, and even more trees further down at the other end of the river. Foliage being in now and across the entire river, and a lot, oh ouch, a lot more trees. It's looking really good. And there's one thing that I really want to do, and that is to grab a bunch of dirt and hopefully gravel if I have any. Oh, here it is. And make ourselves a bunch of coarse dirt. And then dotting this around the terrain, making the rocks and structures and trees fit in a bit better. Already looking a lot better here with all of the coarse dirt. And then final detail now is bone meal, where we need to just go around and add in grass everywhere. And I gotta remove all of the flowers because I don't want all of the spread out flowers colors everywhere, but we need so much grass. So spending the next little while running around the terrain, bone mealing in a ton of grass to break up the repetitiveness of the terrain. And with our foliage in, turning some shaders on, we can ride on through the river, and this was definitely worth the 30+ hours I've spent on it. Wait a second. There we go, a bit of pollution along the river's edge from the factory wall, and that completes this river project. Having spent over 30 hours in total, from the planning, digging, all the way to detailing, this has been an insane project, but looking back at what we started with and then what we turned this area into, I'm incredibly happy I did it. Thank you to all my supporters, and thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.